Iowa's GOP caucuses are fewer than 2 weeks away now, and the candidates are making their final appeals to voters there in the Hawkeye State. After months of campaigning, former President Donald Trump still holds an overwhelming lead in the state. As you see from these numbers, he's more than 30 points ahead of his closest rival. That's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. CBS News political director Finn Gomez joins us now from our D.C. bureau with more on this and other big headlines. Finn, I want to start by playing some sound of folks in Iowa who are still undecided. I'm going to quickly show that with our viewers and get your reaction on the other side.
The reason why I don't have who I'm going to caucus for is because I want to listen to them all. Because my gut says they're going to get in there and they're going to get their hands tied by somebody.
With that hat, I was expecting him to say hogtied, but he makes a good point. Every election cycle, we give a lot of attention to folks like this, undecided voters. But in your view, are there enough of them to significantly impact the state's results and perhaps eat into Donald Trump's lead?
Yeah, Errol, we are 13 days away from the Iowa caucuses. That's so close, Errol, that I can taste the Iowa corn-fed beef. We are that close. But yeah, I mean, look, speaking to folks in Trump's orbit, associated with this campaign, and also to top Republicans from his rival campaigns, there is a sense right now that Trump has this momentum that has only increased. And we've seen that. On average, it's 30 points ahead of the rest of the pack. And it's really about expectations, though, Errol, in Iowa. If a candidate goes in with lowered expectations and does better than expected, usually that translates into momentum going into New Hampshire. And we have seen the previous examples in 2008 and 2012 and in 2016 when those open Republican Iowa caucuses saw upsets. We saw that Mike Huckabee in 2008. We saw that with Rick Santorum in 2012 and, of course, Ted Cruz in 2016. So his rivals, Trump's rivals, believe that there is that example. However, if you just take a gander, if you will, over the latest data, if you look at the polling, it is really a significant Mount Everest type of climb. But his rivals are expecting to do better than what we see now. But of course, overall, the expectation is that Trump will do very well in Iowa. If there's a 15-point sort of standard, if you will, if he hits 15 points, if he comes above those 15 points or over near to his nearest rival in the Iowa caucuses. I've talked to some top Republican operatives, including one former campaign manager on a campaign that rival Trump. They say that's really the point. If Trump does better than 15, there's going to be so much momentum going into New Hampshire. They don't really see anyone else but Trump become the nominee.
So then for his Republican rivals then, Finn, based on what you're being told, it would seem as though this is their moment to show that they can gain some momentum. Is there any shot, though, for Governor DeSantis, for Ambassador Haley, who've been campaigning like crazy along with the other candidates to gain more footing?
Well, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley especially are banking on that, especially the Florida governor, of course. He was really staked it all on the Iowa caucuses, on the Hawkeye State. Now, if he does better than expected, if he comes in a strong 2, that could galvanize supporters. He has picked up that evangelical endorsements, some key ones, and of course, the popular Republican Governor Kim Reynolds, her endorsement in that state as well. DeSantis supporters in Iowa believe that there is enough of a momentum there, enough of a structure there that could galvanize his support. However, really, the momentum right now, if you look at it, is again Donald Trump increasing his margins in that state, and then Nikki Haley, who's been really gaining over in the Granite State in New Hampshire as of late.
And then how does that compare then? Because we know the demographics of Iowa aren't necessarily representative of the rest of the country, but for Republicans, it sounds like what you're saying is it's all about momentum. So how will what happens there in a couple of weeks affect the rest of their race against each other?
Great question. I think 2 key words. It's expectations again when it comes to Iowa, and then momentum. How do you translate expectations and the results of caucus night, if you will, and how that translates and converts to momentum going into New Hampshire 8 days later, and then into the cycle. Now, Iowa overall, the electorate's more conservative, more socially conservative. Abortion is a big issue amongst Republican caucus goers, likely Republican caucus goers, also immigration. But if you look over in New Hampshire, abortion rights is less of a top issue for Republican primary voters there. And it's a little bit more of a moderate libertarian sort of construct. So therefore, Nikki Haley is looking to capitalize on that. Chris Christie is looking to have a better than expected outcome as well in the Granite State. But again, it's about expectations right now and see how they do. And the best litmus test for that, the best test for that, of course, is actual nominating events like the caucuses in 13 days, and then, of course, New Hampshire 21 days from now.
Well, that is the Republican race as it stands now. Finn Gomez, great to have you with us on this new year.
Thanks, Happy New Year.
See you later.